We're going to welcome to the show now Republican North Carolina Congressman Brad Knott. He sits on the House Homeland Security Committee and the Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to the show.
My pleasure. Thank you, Anna.
Well, bipartisan groups of lawmakers, we've got both sides of the aisle talking about this, and they're introducing a war powers resolution to block the White House from attacking Venezuela without congressional approval. Now a House Democrat says he's filing for articles of impeachment against War Secretary Pete Hegseth. What do you say to those arguing that the administration shouldn't be doing what they're doing?
You know, it's a great question, and the administration is just recognizing one of the gravest threats that our country faces. I mean, we lose hundreds of thousands of people every couple of years to really state-sponsored terrorism in the form of drug trafficking. And the administration, for the first time in our history, is treating it like the threat that it is. And there have been, around a dozen or so attacks. There have been very pointed, very targeted hits of established drug traffickers. And I look forward to the administration coming forward and showing Congress, either in a classified setting or in a more public setting, how they're determining who is a drug trafficker and who is not. From what I've understood in my conversations with members in the Armed Services Committee, these are very targeted, they're not random, and they have a very good basis for the attacks that they're carrying out.
Yeah, well, look, we've got what we call a quad box with different strikes of videos, and it is jarring to see, but you got to imagine people who have lost their children to drug overdoses are saying this should have happened a long time ago. Well, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine is criticizing President Trump for, quote, risking the lives of our nation's service members to engage in military action within Venezuela with a robust debate in Congress. Let's go ahead and take a listen to Congressman Adam Smith. He was on the Hill this week. Here he is on why he says America should not be involved in regime change in Venezuela.
I don't know what the president's going to do. I'll tell you, there is no way on earth we should be going to war or trying to do regime change in Venezuela. I'm not a fan of Maduro, but the idea that all you got to do is remove someone and something better automatically comes in its place, I would trust that Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, a whole lot of places would have taught us that lesson by now, and that we would be out of the regime change business.
Yeah, look, a lot of critics say that. They say we haven't had the best of luck when we do try to get involved and have regime change. Do you think the White House, though, should be consulting Congress more on all of its military moves?
Well, right now, all they're doing is applying pressure to someone who is very deeply tied to some of our worst adversaries, Russia, China, Iran. He is positioning himself to protect the United States. And if there is further military action, I have full faith and confidence that there will be interactions with Congress, and we will have to go through the legal channels. But Maduro is a hostile actor. Make no mistake about it. He is sponsoring attacks on the United States in the form of drug trafficking, in the form of aiding our adversaries, and applying pressure right now without so much as even firing a shot on the mainland or towards Maduro himself seems to be the right move. He's applying pressure, and there has not been a full-on attack, and I support the president's moves so far.
All right. I got you there. I hear you loud and clear. Well, Congressman, let's switch gears now. We're now learning that an arrest has been made in your home state and mine, too, North Carolina, after a man was stabbed in the chest on the light rail in Charlotte. The victim, we're told, is in stable condition, fortunately. But this incident does come just 4 months after the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee. We all have seen this video, Irina Zarutska, being fatally stabbed on the light rail. Let's zoom in on the latest crime statistics if we can. We can show in the control room if we can put those up there on the screen. They're down 1,000 offenses compared to last year. Both homicides and aggravated assaults dropped. But North Carolina Democrats are saying that overall crime is down. What are you saying? What are you seeing? What are you? Because I hear Democrats saying one thing and Republicans saying another, that crime is up in the city center.
Well, you walk around Charlotte like we did a few weeks ago, and especially in downtown Charlotte, people are not feeling that. People don't sense that public safety is really a priority for the Democratic lawmakers on a local level. And when you have that mentality following the Biden open border policies, you have people in Charlotte that no one knows who they are or why they're here. And there is a compounding effect that is really detrimental to the communities around Charlotte. And we must encourage local law enforcement to be vigorous in protecting the public. If you commit a crime, you should go to jail. These folks who have over a dozen arrests and no significant sentences, it's an unbelievably counterproductive policy that seems to be far too common in predominantly Democrat jurisdictions. If you commit a crime, you should be held accountable. That's really the bottom line here.
Is it enforced on the light rail to pay for a ticket? Do you know?
No, the light rail, ever since COVID, as I understand it, has really been a topic of bureaucratic entanglement. And they are making changes and engaging more private parties, actually, in Charlotte to try to boost its safety, to boost its utility. And I support those efforts. But again, when you have illegal immigration compounding the local criminal populations, it really does call into question the public safety of the residents in Charlotte.
Right, and public transportation in general. I mean, it seems like we would have learned our lesson with Irina Zarutska, a few months ago. It's just tragic. And then you hear Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect here in New York City, saying he wants everything to be free, including the buses. And what ends up happening is homeless people get there, and bad actors get on there too. Yep. Mentally ill individuals and things like this, can fester pretty easily. If we can switch gears out of Charlotte, protesters and ICE agents are clashing in Tucson, Arizona. Democratic Representative Adelita Grijalva, she was there, and she claims that ICE agents pepper sprayed her. Take a listen.
So I was here. This is like the restaurant I come to literally once a week, and was sprayed in the face by a very aggressive agent, pushed around by others when I literally was not being aggressive. I was asking for clarification, which is my right as a member of Congress.
Well, DHS is denying her claims, and the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs posting on X, we'll take a look here, saying the Congresswoman was in the vicinity of someone who was pepper sprayed, and that was as they were obstructing and assaulting law enforcement. Now, she went on to say that presenting one's self as a, quote, member of Congress does not give you the right to obstruct law enforcement. How should Congress and immigration officials be working together to uphold the law?
I want to make sure that your viewers know that the Trump administration has offered to pay people thousands of dollars to leave who are here illegally. The idea that this is a radical administration is simply not true. And that particular Congresswoman, she's grandstanding. She went to an enforcement operation. She harassed. She inserted herself into an ongoing operation, endangering herself, endangering the people who are being targeted, and endangering law enforcement. I find that to be unbelievably reckless. It's inappropriate, and she does not have the right to do that, despite what she claimed.
They're federal law enforcement officers. Thank you so much. Republican North Carolina Congressman Brad Knott, appreciate you being here. Come back again. Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.